Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Total Bases Podcast. I am your host, Austin Spiro. Thank you so much for joining us again today. We're going to be looking at projections this morning for the upcoming season, if we have another season. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Felipe Malicio. Felipe, how you doing?
Hey, Austin. Thank you for introducing the show once again, as I'm still kind of recovering. Lousy COVID. Hey, let's be optimistic here, you guys. There is going to be a season. There's just too much on the line for them to muck this up. So I know that negotiations seem to be far away, but I'm kind of I don't know. Maybe you guys have a different perspective. I expect you guys to have a different perspective, but based on what happened this past week, it seems like they're finally getting around to compromising and meeting somewhere down the middle. I mean, what do you think, Austin? You think they're getting closer or no?
I think they're certainly getting closer, but some of the articles that I was looking at yesterday, I think Ken Rosenthal came out with a post on Twitter yesterday about an article that he wrote saying that he doesn't see why we wouldn't start on time, or we would start on time. I don't know. We'll see. I definitely think spring training will be delayed. I'm also joined by the other co-host making his return. This is his second time in a row coming back. Welcome back, Mr. Sean Connor Flannery. Sean, thanks for being here. What do you think about the upcoming negotiations and where the season's going to start?
Both sides have to play hardball. They have to make it look like they're not going to be the ones that lose the negotiations, and especially the players, because the last CBA go round, the players and the PA and Eric Clark all got reamed. But that was, I think, on purpose, because they were basically giving that one away because they knew when the TV deals expired and this go round that they were going to really go for the throat. And so you got both sides playing hardball. It'll be interesting to see what comes of it. I do agree with what was said before that, spring training is going to be shortened, but both sides have too much to lose to not start on time. So that's where I'm at with it right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about billions and billions of dollars. I mean, I know owners have been on their high horse about not giving an inch, but you got to do something, because even if you, what do you call it? Even if you cede some of the things that you're arguing or that you're trying to keep for yourself towards the players, whether it be service time or increasing the luxury tax threshold, which at this point we all know it's a salary cap without calling it a salary cap, which is bogus, but whatever. I have to assume that with what Sean said, with all the TV deals and all the fancy new stadiums you're getting and all the revenue you get from just gouging the crap out of the merchandise and all that there's just way too much money to lose for them to be on their high horse and not come to some happy medium here. I mean, we all know what happened in '94 and how, I don't know, according to everybody, that they all only came back because of steroids. So if that's what you want, you want all your heroes to become villains again, by all means, go for it, man. That's what you people want. That's what you people will get. But I hope it's not. I mean, we're not doing all this work for nothing, right, Austin?
Yeah, definitely. I would hope not anyway. It's a lot of work behind the scenes for sure.
But I'm the biggest Debbie Downer you'll ever find, and I'm pretty optimistic that they're going to get a deal done. It's going to be late probably, but it has to get done. I mean, you can't go with an elongated work stoppage, and for what? Just for a couple $1 million here and there. I know it adds up, but in the grand scheme of things, you got to give up something to get something back. And I don't know, it can't just be 100% pro owner here, as far as the owners are wanting it to be. So that's my take on it. But anyway, I got the big screenshot, or I'm sharing my screen of the spreadsheet. Can you guys see it?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I see it. Is it big enough? That's what she said. Let's see. Good enough. You know what? Use your laptops next time, guys. All right. Well, here we are. The big colorful spreadsheet. And I have it down by, the vitals, the traditional numbers, the plate discipline numbers, the base running, and then I added some combined statistics here. Austin, you'll appreciate that I took some of the stuff that you and Jonathan were talking about last year and did my own version of small ball and big ball. And I even did a 70-30 split as to how important small ball versus big ball should be in terms of fantasy. And I think I did 30% small ball, or as I like to call it here, hustle ball. and then 70% of it would be Powerball, which was the big ball version, the home runs and doubles and stuff. I don't know. But before I was meaning to ask you guys, is 70-30 too much of a grand split, or does that seem to be about right for fantasy purposes? Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, probably around there, 65-35, 70-30, probably in that general ballpark.
And,
especially because in most 5x5 rota, that home run, like you're not going to see the doubles and triples. It's just going to be the home run. Like that's what you're looking for. Yeah.
It usually generates RBI. The RBI runs, and you may get some stolen bases, but not enough. That's why these stolen base people. We talked about it. Stolen bases are such a hot commodity this upcoming season. Austin, is that the way you see it? 70-30 split, or did you think it's something else?
No, I think 70-30 is good. All right. Mainly because I don't know what is comprised in your hustle ball, but I mean, really, the only thing that you're looking at in terms of the hustle category is probably so singles, triples, walks, hit by pitches,
stolen
base aggregate. I think with those, you're really only going to see them in some leagues. You're not going to see it in every single league. And the Powerball, you're definitely going to see more home runs and stuff. So I think that's good. Focusing on stolen bases is one of those, it's nice, but it's not really necessary, I think, in order to win the league. So,
yeah, I mean, as you know, Sean, I ended up being the first 30-game winner in our fantasy baseball league without basically just punting stolen bases last year. So Austin's onto something here. And then we got the rate stats and miscellaneous, which includes WAR and ADP. Austin, do you know when you extracted this data from Fangraphs? Do you remember when?
It was a few weeks ago.
All right, so this is already old information, but it's okay because if we keep waiting around for it, we're never going to get anything done. So let's start with our favorite stat for the podcast, which is total bases. This is the 2022 hitters ATC projections. Sean, can you tell the audience what ATC is and who runs those projections?
Yeah, so ATC Projections comes from a very, very nice guy. He's a great follow on Twitter if you haven't followed him yet. It's going to be Errol Cohen. I could pull up his Twitter, and I will do that momentarily.
Sure.
But it's one of the best. I mean, he didn't get thrown onto Fangraphs along with some of those other, the bat by Derek Carty and all that. You don't get thrown up there for nothing.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good stuff. Fantasy Baseball Sports Award winner of 2019, Writer of the Year, Article of the Year in 2020. A great writer, great fantasy player. I mean, he's wrote at Fangraphs, CBS, Rotoballer, Labor. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And he puts out some of the best projections in the business. And one of my favorites, and the best part, he's a Mets fan. So we love Errol.
Yeah, so let's get going here. Total bases, that is the unofficial, official, unofficial stat of this podcast, total bases. And Ariel's projecting Vladimir Guerrero to lead the category with 336. I mean, it's basically a who's who on Felipe's team for the Baseball Life League. Vladimir Guerrero, Rafael Devers, Juan Soto in the top 5. You guys are so screwed this year. Nick Castellanos, if I choose to pick him as one of my 6 keepers this upcoming year.
Are you really thinking about not keeping Nick Castellanos? That would be he could be a potential 1-1 in the draft if you don't keep him.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Everybody's on the line, but you heard the 3 guys that I'm locked in right now: Guerrero, Devers, Soto. I mean,
you really, I wouldn't keep Soto if I were you. It's a lot of a risk there. You should definitely throw him back into the sea and maybe keep an extra relief pitcher. Lockdown saves.
Right now.
we all know that he's going to keep Kevin Gausman.
Yeah,
I know
that. Yeah. Yeah, keep thinking that. There's Luis Robert at number 24. That's another guy that I'm really thinking of keeping, because of stolen bases. Right.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's some strong guys up here in the top 30, top 35. Okay, so that's that. So it's a who's who of important.
Look at Juan De Franco making it in the top 40.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks for if you see a player you want to talk about, just scream it out. And that goes to everybody listening this morning at the Baseball Life Facebook group as well. But I just lost him. Where is he? What? Oh, he just clears the top 40, beating out Franmil Reyes. So Juan De Franco, we've been talking about him all winter long. Austin, what else you want to add about Juan De Franco?
He's one of the rookie or one of the second year players, I guess you want to say, that I'm pretty excited to watch. I think the two that I'm excited to watch and see if they can beat the sophomore slump, whatever you want to call it, the stigma, or
Right.
try to beat the sophomore slump, is Juan De Franco and Jonathan India. So hopefully it looks like, Ariel at ATC has him projected as going really far and doing really well. What is interesting to me is I find him as more of a doubles hitter, more of a gap to gap type of hitter, but he's projected to hit 18 homers. So that's really interesting to me.
You're not concerned about the low home run percentage, which is what home runs per plate appearances. So he gets 2.8. I guess you can call the home run rate at 2.89%, which is, you can see that it's lower. And for those who weren't here last time, red and orange is really good. Red is really good. Orange is okay. Green, yellow is middle of the road. Green is bad, and red, and then the last color is blue, which is awful. So Juan De Franco's power is Ariel is not very optimistic about that power beaten at full display this upcoming season. But Austin, you're not concerned about that at all?
I'm not concerned about it, especially if they use him correctly. If they use him in the middle of the order, then I'm concerned. But if they use him as a 1-2 guy, in the 1-2 of the lineup, or even as a number 9 guy, that's a second leadoff hitter. If they use him at one of those spots, I'm not really concerned, because hitting for power is not his job. His job in that sense is to hit it in the gap, get on base, so that the power guys, the Randy Arozarenas and the people like that, they can hit him around. Yeah. I would put him at the top of the lineup. I don't see him as a power hitter. I see him as this is going to be, I think, a weird comp. I would say he's a Juan Soto light. He gets on base but he doesn't have the power. You know what I mean? I like his plate discipline at such a young age, and I think he's going to be more of a gap to gap hitter than a power hitter. So as long as he's at the top of the lineup, it doesn't bother me.
Just a quick word. Melvin's in this morning. Jet from Milwaukee, my good buddy up there, is in this morning. And Henry joining us all from the Dong City podcast. They were on Wednesday night talking about everything, including the lockout. I'm pretty sure they do a much better job in terms of explaining it in detail on their show. So go check them out if you haven't already. Big shout out to Henry for the camera that I'm using this morning, as I am live in crystal clear HD. I decided that I kind of like the color in the background with them, so I didn't turn on any lights, so that's why I'm in the dark right now. Melvin wants us to talk about Randall Greatchuck. I'm not sure if that's a joke or if he's serious, but we can talk about Randall Greatchuck. Why not? Henry's already saying that Greatchuck belongs in the garbage can in Spanish. And lastly, Felipe's charts get an A from Henry, so that means a lot. But the color scheme gets a big fat F from him. But you know what? I'll take it as a compliment, because you can't spell Felipe without the letter F. So fuck you, Henry. So no, there's another F word for you. No,
there we go. Got to label the title of the episode explicit now.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, you know what though? I'm kind of ashamed that we went this whole time without mentioning that we are recording live on Super Sunday. So thank you guys for joining us. I'm pretty sure you're all busy on a very busy Sunday football morning, whatever. This will be the last one of the year, unless you guys count the college football all-star games or whatever. But anyway, I digress. There's Randall Greatchuck, number 116th ranked in terms of the total bases. Middle of the road, the power is there. Obviously, the singles, they're not drafting Randall Greatchuck for singles, as green means that he's below average in that department. The home run rate is there. Sean, you're seeing the plate discipline.
Yeah, it's Greatchuck. He's going to give you 25-ish home runs. Depending on where he bats in the lineup, he could go anywhere from 80 to 90 RBIs. Surprisingly, though, in 2021, he's dropped his strikeout percentage in like 4 or 5 straight years. And with last year being the lowest of his career at 20.9%, which was actually below league average. The thing with Greatchuck is he doesn't walk, and he really doesn't steal any bases. He had 0 stolen bases in 2021. But if the strikeouts hold, maybe he improves a little bit, for a slightly higher average like he did in 2020, where he batted 273. I could see like 25. he might be a sneaky guy for a 30 home run season that you could get like with where's his ADP at?
Yeah, hold on, let me get to it.
It's all the way at the far side.
Yeah, 366.
Yeah, I mean, that's for a guy that is essentially a lock for 25-ish home runs. Yeah. It could get you even more and is going to be one of the best lineups in baseball. It's all about plate appearances for him.
Yeah.
And really, his last 2 full seasons in Toronto, he had 628 in 2019 and then 545 in 2021. So I guess Toronto likes putting him in the lineup. So
yeah,
that's solid value. I mean,
yeah, I'm kind of concerned about the 290 on base percentage that he's projected to be at right now. Which I know that's not his game. His game is just power. Yeah. But like you said, for the right price, I mean, he's a cheap source of power if you wait a little bit, if you're in desperate need for power later in the rounds. We got some requests here. Let's see.
Henry is like on fire in the chat right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be doing taxes, but he's engaged in this podcast. Someone, Chaz, asking about Nelson Cruz, his stock going up. If it's going up because of the universal DH rule. Let's start with Sean again. Nelson Cruz, do you like him for this upcoming season? You think his stock's going to keep going up, or is an age and a factor here with him?
I think it's all going to depend up on where he ends up back at. And really, we won't know anything about that until the lockout ends. I know for some reason, Mets writers have been trying to say that, Nelson Cruz is an option for the Mets at DH. And I'm like, stop it. Get help. Get some help. Like, no, he's not going to go to the Mets. But, there's teams like Miami that could use a DH. Maybe they choose to not go and sign Nick Castellanos, and maybe they just sign Nelson Cruz. Who knows? Maybe he goes to somewhere we're not even thinking about, like Colorado. Nelson Cruz in Colorado would be really fun. But I think it just depends on where he goes. Like if he goes to a team that is not a good offense, yeah, he might get you 30 home runs, but it's going to be like 70, 80 RBIs. And next to nothing in runs.
I was going to ask you, Sean, the projections are very friendly. They're usually friendly to older players because of the larger sample size and the predictability of it all. But I'm kind of concerned about the age and the lack of juice that he's now not juicing anymore. At least we're assuming he's not juicing anymore. But I mean, do you think these projections, I mean, they're all in red and orange here. Do you think these projections are a little bit too friendly towards him because of the large sample size in his career? Or do you think this is about right?
I think it's about right. I mean, ATC has him at a sub 500 slug, which normally when you think about Cruz the last few years, he hasn't had a sub 500 slugging season since 2012 when he was in Texas. And then 2021 was the first time he did have one at 497. And we saw the average drop from the 300s, which he had in 19 and 20. But even then, from 2015 to 2018, he was a like 260, 270-ish. He had 280 hitter. So I wouldn't expect 300. I'm not really expecting 280. I think somewhere around 270, probably going to be right around 500, probably a little beneath it. But he's still going to give you a lot of power. Just I think the doubles are gone and completely out of his game at this point.
Doubles, yeah. The average double production this upcoming season is the projection, but the home run should be there. And again, it all depends where he ends up. But I mean, Nelson Cruz or Hunter Renfroe. Let's start with Austin since I haven't heard from him. Nelson Cruz or Hunter Renfroe there, Austin?
Probably because he's younger. I'd probably go Renfroe because I think age is definitely a thing with Nelson Cruz. You definitely don't know what you're going to get because I believe this is his age 42 season, if I remember correctly. So, you don't know if he's going to continue to be the ageless wonder or if in fact age is going to keep up with him. And I think Sean is right. It depends on what team he goes to. If he goes to a team like Miami, which is a cavernous ballpark, he's not going to be hitting very many homers. And and you're seeing it with the lower doubles production. Of course, he doesn't have any speed, so he's going to hit one triple maybe.
He had a triple in 2021. I'm not sure if you guys saw that chat. I was just looking it up, and he had a triple, and I was super excited about that.
You're not I'm not, especially if he goes to a bigger ballpark, you're going to see a lot more flyouts. So I would rather take Hunter Renfroe. The other one that's interesting that I saw in the chat as well, that's kind of Nelson Cruz light at this point, is kind of a younger Nelson Cruz, is Luke Voight. So
Wow.
I would be interested to see where's Luke Voight at. Do you know?
Well, really quick, I heard Sean sign when I asked him about Nelson Cruz or Hunter Renfroe. I got another question for you, Sean, before I move on to Luke Voight. Nelson Cruz, Hunter Renfroe, or CJ Cron for this upcoming season?
Shit. Those three, I go Crone.
Yeah, Crone, but probably just because he's in Colorado. But I like Renfroe in Milwaukee. He's got to make some of the changes that he made this year stick. I mean, him having a 22.7 strikeout percentage in 2021 was massive. If he can keep it like sub 30 or just sub 28 and put the ball in play more, we know he has terrific power. But Crone, I think I go Crone. Maybe Renfroe, but it definitely, I'm not taking Cruz out of those top three, especially at his ADP.
I kind of like Nelson Cruz over the bunch. Although, yeah, CJ Cron in Colorado sounds very enticing. So I guess I would rank Cron, Cruz, and Renfroe. Would be my take. Someone asked about Frank Schwendel. I just feel like talk about
last week.
Frank Schwendel every week. It seems like every show it's the Frank Schwendel show. That's going to be our 2022 player. But Schwendel is ranked 98th overall in terms of the total bases for the upcoming year. I mean, we talked about this guy at Aussium, but here's the numbers: 87. He's a well-balanced hitter according to the projections. The 21 home runs. We talked about how we were kind of concerned about the low StatCast numbers that he puts up, despite the big production that he had last year. There's a low walk rate, but he swings so much and is such an aggressive swinger and makes plenty of contact that he doesn't strike out a lot either. He's not a speed burner, obviously, but he's a nice little hitter. I am concerned about that 312 on base percentage, and I guess Ariel thinks that he's going to come back down to earth a little bit, but Austin, well, I don't know. Let's start with you, Austin. Austin, now that you see the projections for this upcoming season, has anything changed about Frank Schwendel in your mind?
I think these projections are a little friendly.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he is going to come back down to earth a little bit, and I think especially it's tough. I liked watching Frank Schwendel. I think Schwendel was a really cool guy to watch. I think he was riding a hot streak. He is a guy that doesn't strike out very often, but I think it's going to turn into a guy that, doesn't strike out very often, but is going to get a lot of like ground ball outs and line outs and stuff. And it's going to be a guy we're going to be talking about at the end of the year, be like, well, he didn't strike out. He just hit it to the wrong place is the type of guy we're going to talk about.
Bad luck. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just kind of bad luck. I think Frank the Tank is going to kind of come back down to earth a little bit.
Well, is he just a larger version of Donovan Solano? I mean, he doesn't strike out as much as Donovan Solano, but it's like the line drive approach, kind of meh power. I could see it. Like he has like the shelf life of Donovan Solano, which was like a year and a half. But he got a cool ass nickname out of it, Donnie Barrels. Like that was like the coolest thing in the world.
You guys know how I feel about Schwendel. I think he's a good first half rental for your team, and then you kind of, as soon as he gets off to a hot start, you kind of flip him over to an unsuspecting owner and reap the rewards on the hot start. Because I feel like the Cubs are going to take advantage of any production he gets for the team and just get a few prospects for him, low level prospects, if anything. That's my take on Schwendel. I've been pretty consistent about that. Henry mentioning Luke Voight, and I think Austin also mentioned Luke Voight.
That's why I mentioned it, because Henry was saying it.
Maybe that should be his name, Harry. 129th Peludo. 129th overall in terms of total bases. Luke Voight is. You're seeing it there. I mean, this guy's all power all the time. He's not going to get you much variety, which I think that's been a Yankee fan complaint about the lineup overall, really. Luke Voight personifies it with its home run or bust. Not much variety. Strikes out a lot. Doesn't walk enough to kind of offset those strikeouts either. But let's look at the triple slash line. Decent, respectable. Henry thinks that there's going to be a huge trade market for Luke Voight. Let's start with Sean. Sean, your thoughts on Luke Voight?
I don't think I think in 2021, obviously, he struck out over 30% of the time. I don't think he's that type of hitter. I think the walk rate, it's not going to be as high as it was in 2019, pushing 14%, but I think it'll be around 9-10% with, a middling strikeout, probably 24-25%. And I think he is a possibility if Matt Olson does get traded after the lockout. There's going to be several teams that are going to be like with surplus first baseman approaching Oakland saying, well, what do you want him? We'll take anything. And that's going to be guys like Luke Voight with the Yankees, Dominic Smith from the Mets. You could even talk about maybe in Milwaukee where they have both Tellez and Vogelbach, I think. Maybe Vogelbach got non-tendered. I'm not 100% sure. But there's several teams that have excess at first base. And if Olson gets moved, I think in Luke Voight in Oakland, though, I don't think that's the best place for him because that is a ballpark that does not like righty power or lefty power, really. So I'm kind of out on him. I was in on him last year, but until I know he's getting everyday plate appearances, I'm out.
Oh boy, yeah, that is a concern always with him. Austin, do you share the same sentiment as Sean, or do you have a different take?
We're talking about Luke Voight, right?
Yeah.
How many one-arm bench presses is he projected to have?
Too many.
I don't know. I think he's in that. I think I have the same sentiment as Sean. He could have a trade market, especially with the universal DH rule. I could also see the Yankees maybe giving him one more shot, but it seems like he's kind of moved to the bench and he's not very happy about it. So, he could be traded but I'm the same as Sean. I'm out on Luke Voight. I'm not, especially with the fact that he strikes out so much and doesn't walk.
Yeah.
So, I'm not in on Luke Voight.
All right.
I don't think he doesn't walk at all. Like 18 to 20, he was walked over 11.5%. But he could go join Frank Schwendel in Chicago and Clint Frazier. That would help both teams, I think. I don't know who the Yankees get back, but put all the ex-Yankees on the Cubs and just see what happens.
Well, Gleyber Torres coming back too?
Oh, no. God, Gleyber Torres would fall off a cliff if he went back.
If Gleyber Torres comes back to the Cubs won that trade. Bar none there. I said what I said. All right, Melvin's asking about Eugenio Suarez. That's a guy I was oops, I forgot that's last name, first name. That's a guy I was kind of high on last year. I gave him another chance on my points league team, and boy, did he disappoint. But he's supposed to finish 102nd on the total bases projection. So a little bit of a bounce back projection from Ariel here. Let's see what else we got. Not a singles player, home run or bust. So that's part of the problem is that he's home run or bust. Strikeouts are way, way, way high, even in a league that strikes out a lot. He's nearing the 30% strikeout rate threshold, which is a big red flag for us. I actually, anything above 25 is a red flag for us. Well, depending on the walks, the approach and all that, but I'm just trying to speak in general terms. The batting average, I know we're not big on batting average, but this just tells me that he's not only home run or bust, but he's not even making enough good contact to put the ball on the ground or put the ball in play. So give him an opportunity to raise that batting average. And the on base percentage is low according to projections as well. Sean, what's been going on with Eugenio Suarez after the big power seasons as he had before the year before in 2021?
I saw this coming since 2019, and then the Mets were trying to trade for him after 2019. Oh, we need a third baseman. He just hit 49 home runs. And when you break out his huge 2019 season, it was a 4-win season. He basically had 3 in a row, 4-win seasons. But each year, the strikeouts and the swinging strike rate got higher and higher. And then in 2019, he hit all those home runs. And as the season came to an end, he was trying to get to 50. And it was just like, it was so bad. It was like hard to watch. And then basically this year, we got to see that for 145 games because he stayed relatively healthy. He was just terrible. And this week, they announced that they had already agreed on the universal DH. And I went back, and Eugenio Suarez finished the year with a 0.6 positional F4 from Fangraphs' WAR. And you know who also had as a positional F4 of 0.06 or 0.6 was Jacob deGrom. in 35 plate appearances, had the same WAR as a hitter as a Eugenio Suarez. Even with that, he hit 31 home runs, but I mean, he hurt your batting average basically more than Joey Gallo does, in my opinion. So
that's saying a lot right there.
Yeah.
And he's not just running average. I mean, I'm in a points league. He didn't do anything.
Strikeout's going to kill you.
Even with the home runs, he didn't do jack for me at all. I had to drop him. Even with the shortstop eligibility, he didn't do anything. As Henry said, he got exposed. I wish it was I have to assume it's a little bit more complicated than that, but at this point, yeah, it seems like everybody caught up to him, and maybe there's something to do with the balls being juice or non-juice. I don't know what the topic is anymore with Manfred and what he's trying to do. I do have the baseball savant numbers, but we did that last week. So
he did have a really good last month of the season.
Okay, now
but I'm not really he hit 370 in the last September. Had I think 8 or 9 home runs. But I'm out on him. Did you ever see any of his play at shortstop when they had him there in May?
No, April, but I heard it was pretty bad.
Oh my! I think he had 10 errors in 2 weeks. I mean, it was so absolutely brutal. I think he had the lowest OAA among all shortstops, and he only played there 30 games.
So I'm on the baseball savant stuff that we did last week. I'm just kind of curious about Eugenio Suarez. The curiosity got the better of me. Yeah, all power, no skill. Expected. I mean, the StatCast numbers don't save him. Batting average is bad. The expected batting average is bad. The expected on base percentage is bad. So it's in line with what the projections are saying about him. Exit velo is below 90 miles an hour. He did get 51 barrels and a 15% barrel rate, so all is not lost with him, but it only amounted to 39% hard hit rate, which is somewhere along the middle of the road stuff. Strikeout rate is high, and oh my God, aggressive for no reason. Outside the zone swing and miss 56.4%. So they're just toying with him at that point.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I'm sorry. Did I say aggressive? I meant to say that he could be a little bit more aggressive because it's green, so he should be swinging a little bit more. He only has an outside the zone swinging percentage of 23.2%. But when he does swing outside the zone, bad results happen. It's not a very good look, and he has a whiff rate of 29.5%. Everything going against this poor guy. There's a sprint speed 26.7.
Yeah, and it's an unfortunate because he used to be a very well-rounded hitter. I mean, his first few years in the league, 2015 to really 2019, when he had his last good year, he was a 267 hitter. He walked 10% of the time, strikeout rate right underneath 25%. And he had the power. He didn't need to sell out for power. If you have to sell out for power in Great American Ballpark, you have issues. Just put the ball in play, and you're going to hit 30 home runs. I mean, ask Zach Cozart and Scooter Gennett.
My name is Scooter. All right. Let's see here. All right. So that's the total basis.
I guess this is a bad time to mention that Scooter is my childhood nickname.
I could totally.
It's also Michael Conforto's nickname.
Oh, of course it is. Michael Scoter Conforto. Yeah, I could see that too.
So can I add something to Eugenio Suarez that I'm looking at right now?
Sure.
So what I'm looking at right here from so at the beginning of his career in 2015, his ground ball percentage was 41.9%. His line drive percentage was 29.2%. His fly ball percentage was 24.3%. Right. So he was mainly a ground ball hitter that could also, had a little bit of power. But as it's gone now, as his career is gone, his ground ball percentage has dropped to almost 35%. His fly ball percentage has gone up 11%, and his line drive percentage is down. So now he's more of a fly ball hitter. The other thing that I was looking at was pitch types, and trying to see if I could find a pattern with that. The run values on these pitch types is pretty interesting to look at. And what I'm really seeing is pitchers are exposing him with pitches that break downward. Right. Yeah. So on a splitter, his run value is 0. On a sinker, his run value -16. On a slider, which kind of breaks down, right? His run value -3. Curveball, a 1. Changeup, a 1. You're looking at a 4-seamer. His run value goes up to a 4. A cutter, his run value goes up a little bit. So anything that breaks down, he's not hitting, because now he's turned his swing into more of a fly ball swing, and most of the pitches that these pitchers are throwing are breaking down, right? So I think, as Henry said in the chat, he's been exposed. He's having a hard time hitting these pitches that break downward. So unless he changes the swing, his swing path to meet the ball that's breaking downward, he's going to continue to have problems.
Yeah, and that would explain the horrible outside the zone swing and miss at being at 56.4% and the big whiff rate at 29.5%. It all makes sense if you look at it, if you break it down from that perspective, because I remember purple is he should probably stop swinging, and then green means that he should swing more. Yeah, he's hacking out there when it's outside the strike zone. Sean, I feel like you're breathing and sighing over there. You have something to add here?
Yeah, basically 3 straight years. He always whiffed a good bit, but his quality of contact was pretty good. But the last 3 years against breaking balls, whiff rate in 2019, first time over 40%. In 2020, went to 49.5%, whiffing on almost half the breaking balls that were thrown to him. He also hit 125 against them. And then this year, all he got was the same amount of breaking balls, exactly 31.2% faced, batted 183, whiffed 43% of the time. Teams are just going to feed him breaking ball after breaking ball after breaking ball, and he can't hit it. So
he's a great fastball hitter, but he can't hit the breaking ball.
Not in 2021. He wasn't even a good fastball hitter in 2021.
He was not.
2019. He crushed fastballs, and even before that, he was a great dead red hitter. But yeah, 2021. What's the saying? The brakes came off. The wheels came off.
The wheels fell off.
The rails popped off. Like I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Don't ask me, because I think the wheels on the bus go round and round at this point. Looking at some of the lower ranked players in terms of total bases, just trying to see if I can find someone of maybe some value. I see 5 triples, and that's from Kevin Kiermaier. So he's ranked 248th, and there's only 318 players ranked on this list. He's 248th in total bases, but damn it, he's going to get you 5 triples next year. So if you're in a league that rewards triples, by all means. Alcides Escobar, 75 singles, which is that's almost half of the total bases are just singles. So there's a singles hitter for you, along with some guy named Santiago Espinal. All right,
he had a good year for the Blue Jays.
He had a good little season.
All right, a little season. All right. There's Kevin Newman, one of our favorite Pittsburgh Pirates of all time, along with who's the other guy? Kevin Newman and
Ryan Reynolds.
Kevin Kramer and Newman. Get it? Seinfeld reference. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, always a good choice in the late rounds, because he'll get you a little bit of everything. Austin, where do you want to go? What category you want to see here? We got hits, singles, doubles, doubles and triples, home runs, home run rate, runs, RBI.
I was interested to hear you talk about your hustle ball and your home run ball.
All right, I'm glad you brought that up. So as you guys can see, there's home runs plus stolen bases, which is my cheap attempt to find power speed combinations, which are always in high demand for me. But let's take a look at the hustle ball, which we mentioned before. It is singles, triples, walks, hit by pitch, and stolen base aggregates. So the leader of the hustle ball for next year, Juan Soto. Why? Because he's a freaking freak of nature. He not only leads this category, but he's just dominating guys like Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Starlin Marte, Whit Merrifield. Let's start with you, Austin. Any player in the top, let's call it the top 25 that catches your eye on this leaderboard here?
Miles Straw.
Oh, yes. Yes, I don't like.
I literally have him pulled up right now. Well,
you know how I feel about my punch and Judy hitters, but this is a guy I definitely want on my team. I mean, the doubles and triples aren't there. I mean, they are in combination, but not individually. The home runs are definitely not there. But he's a very patient hitter in terms of drawing walks and limiting strikeouts, relatively speaking. But the big number is the 30 big fat stolen bases he's going to get for you. And you know what? Let's look at the triple slash line. 341 on base percentage from a base stealer. I mean, you got to take that. The one concern is the low slugging percentage, but from a guy who can steal potentially 30 bases for you, you'll suffer with that because he's going to get on base and he's going to rack up the stolen bases. At least that's the hope. All right. Who wants to start? Austin or Sean? Flip a coin. I don't know.
Austin.
Go ahead, Austin.
So I really like Miles Straw. I'm pretty high on Miles Straw this year because of the stolen bases. But when I was looking at Jonathan's all ball, small ball, middle ball, big ball, all of that stuff. Miles Straw is on top of the small ball, right? He's on top of the small ball numbers. And I believe, if I remember correctly, he's kind of up there in the mid ball as well. But his big thing is the small ball. He's going to get on base and he's going to steal bases. You know what I mean? He's going to he's not gonna hit you for power by any means, but I think he's gonna be a great asset to have in your outfield, especially now that he's getting playing time. I really liked Miles Straw last year, especially when he got traded to Cleveland. And now that he's going to be a permanent fixture in the outfield for Cleveland, I'm looking for him to really produce fantasy wise. I would be pretty high on Miles Straw this year in your draft.
For those who can't see, Miles Straw is 7th in this hustle ball category I kind of created on the fly. Sean, let's this will be the last player we both all three of us chime in about, because we're about 20 minutes away from the top of the hour. So what do you have to add about Miles Straw here?
You see, I think everyone that says, Miles Straw is the Punch and Judy hitter, he's just Malik Smith, he's going to have a short, I've legitimately heard that on Twitter. But if you look at their minor league numbers, they're actually very different. Malik Smith was always a guy who really would purposely put the ball on the ground and use his electric speed. And Grady, I think he had a little bit better of a stolen base percentage than Miles Straw. I'm messing up trying to get stolen base percentage here, but don't worry. Miles Straw is a guy that doesn't just put the ball on the ground and try and use a speed. He hits line drives. He hits it all over the field. And when you look at his minor numbers, you'll see it consistently putting up batted balls, never really topping out, going above 50%, or like Malik Smith did when he was in the majors. He had like a 62% ground ball rate one year. And it was good. Like he was actually pretty good because that was what he needed to do. But Miles Straw, I think he might not be a total 0 in home runs. Like I know a lot of people are, I'm not expecting like 15, but
four home runs.
I think he might be closer to 10. I mean, he might just hit enough line drives, like especially to right field in Cleveland. It's kind of short. It's low fence. I think he might just knock a few, and I think he's going to have absolutely a green light to run however much he wants.
Yeah. And
I mean, in 2018, when he was in AAA, hit most games he played at AAA. He was 35 for 38. In 2019, between AAA and the majors, he was 27 of 32. And then this year he was 36 of 38, I believe. Yeah. 36. I can't count. 36 for 42 between Houston and Cleveland. So,
well, you got me kind of concerned because you mentioned Malik Smith and Miles Straw in the same sentence now.
But he they're different batted ball profiles. And all right. I thought Malik Smith didn't walk as much as he did because they were both talking about, both guys had very good walk percentages coming through the minors. And I was like, Malik Smith walked? And yeah, he actually walked a lot in the minors. So that is similar. But when you look at their batted ball profile, Miles Straw is definitely more of the, I don't want to say launch angle, but more of the line drive hitter. And I think that will age more gracefully. And he actually doesn't have terrible fly ball percentages. Granted, that might not be in his best interest. But if he is going to hit a few home runs, I mean, I don't know. I like his chances. I don't think he's Malik Smith.
I was a big fan of Malik Smith when he was coming up, and then he just kept disappointing me. But I thought he was one of those guys that I always wanted. High on base percentage, and he has a green light to steal bases. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And I don't know where is Malik Smith anyway? Not on this list.
He was with the Mets, I think, in spring training, and then the minors, they cut him. And then he was between Cincinnati's minor league, and then I think he ended up with Toronto's. Back again in Toronto, but he might be a free agent now.
All right, lightning round style. We each get a player to kind of evaluate here. I'm going to start with Christian Yelich. Selfishly, because he's in my points league, and that Austin has been nice enough to join as a new member. So congratulations, Austin, for accepting our invitation. Christian Yelich, though, he's one of my keeper potential guys. How the mighty have fallen. Once goes from MVP caliber player to someone who's on the bubble on my team. But a lot of as you see the projections, they're loving him. I mean, the home runs aren't there, but everything else is in orange and red hue colors. So that's a good sign. The strikeouts are way too high though. And we do penalize for that in our points league, but maybe it's something we can live on. I can live with if that means that he kind of gives us a big bounce back year next year. He's 14th overall on the hustle ball, which again, that's the small ball type of statistics, the singles, the stolen bases, hit by pitch, walks, so on and so forth. He might even pitch in 13 stolen bases, but this might be also a thing where the projections, because Christian Yelich has been in the league for so long that they're very friendly towards him. Like I talked about with Nelson Cruz, But I am still optimistic. You don't become an MVP caliber and then just disappear from the face of the planet just like that. I mean, even the StatCast numbers showed a guy that might bounce back for 2022. So I'm going to go with that optimistic, sunny disposition. I mean, there's a lot to like about him in terms of the projections. Whether that actually comes to fruition in 2022 remains to be seen. It's kind of at this point, would you guys agree that this is a high risk, high reward type of player for this upcoming year?
Yes.
Goddamn. Austin, let's start with you. Any other player as we scroll down this list that you want to talk about in terms of the hustle ball numbers? I'll just keep going
what's
down.
Funny is hustle ball. The one person that really like jumped out at me was Aaron Judge.
Where is he? Oh, number 26. All right.
Aaron Judge is 26. He's pretty high on here because you don't think of Aaron Judge as kind of a smaller ball type of person. I would think he'd be up there in the power ball. But when you think about it, he really rounded out his game last year. He stayed on the field. He was healthy. He rounded out his game. He hit for a good average. He still hit for his power. I mean, obviously Aaron Judge is going to be a keeper, but I would bank on Aaron Judge being a really good candidate this year for being a very, very productive fantasy player. And even in real life, I could see him getting his first MVP if he keeps going and he is where he's supposed to be. I'm still looking for him to kind of bring down his strikeouts a little bit, but his walk percentage is at 12.28%. So I'm willing to have a 25% strikeout percentage as long as he continues to walk the way he does. So, I'm happy with that. I would look for Aaron Judge to be actually a pretty good all around fantasy production player. Don't let go of Aaron Judge if you're in a keeper league.
Yeah, he's got to chip in 5 stolen bases according to these projections and everything else. I mean, you can't go wrong with Aaron Judge, but yeah, it is kind of surprising that he shows up very high on the hustle list, and that's probably because the walks probably makes him relevant.
Probably saved him, but still, it's nice to see a power hitter up there in more of the small ball category.
Yeah. Sean, who's your player that you want to talk about in this hustle ball category as I keep scrolling down here?
Well, first, Austin saying he's willing to do something. I think he needs to come move to Alabama. He would fit in perfectly down here because he's willing to take those strikeouts. But no, I'm going to go with the guy. He didn't pronounce the G, and it was a very Southern thing. He's willing to.
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to go with the guy here
from Texas. So
there you go. That makes sense.
It. All right. Yeah.
But no, JP
Austin,
Crawford,
Texas, got it.
JP Crawford over here, according to your hustle ball metric, is slammed right in between Jose Ramirez and Brian Reynolds. Obviously, he's not going to come close to either of those guys. I know some people are hoping that maybe JP Crawford will steal some bases. I hate to tell you, but that's not going to happen. In 2021. He stole 3 bases. He was caught 6 times. Granted, this was his best career year yet. The strikeout rate came down. Walk rate's still pretty solid. He batted .273, which was a career high. On base near .340. He had 687 plate appearances. This is a guy that if he bats like .280, like if his average does keep coming up a little bit, he has so many plate appearances that he is a guy with all of his base hits could actually not really save you from Joey Gallo's batting average, because I see a lot of people, they say, I need a 330 hitter to help me with Joey Gallo's batting average. No, you need somebody that has a lot of plate appearances and hits like 290, 300. I already see you laughing, but like if Nick Madrigal could get 687 plate appearances, like he could legitimately help. But really, you need plate appearances and base hits to help with Joey Gallo's average. But JP Crawford is one of those sneaky guys that actually you could pair with Joey Gallo just because there's so many plate appearances.
I am so glad you brought up JP Crawford because I know we're not just going to skip him on this list.
He's so like the 2 people he smacked right in between. Like that just cracked me up.
All I keep thinking is like one of these things don't belong together. Can you tell I have a toddler at home? All right. One of these things don't belong at all. And it's JP Crawford with his low slugging percentage and low on base percentage and low everything else. But I mean, you guys saw that he's full of red and orange hues, so they really like him out there. All right, let's keep going down this list in the hustle ball category.
I saw a tweet So I
Go
saw a tweet that talked about Joey Gallo, right, and his fantasy production. Although he hits home runs, he strikes out so much, and his average is so low. He's actually equivalent to negative 27 homers or something.
Yeah, I saw that one as well. I saw that one as well.
Yeah, you saw it too.
Yeah,
it was such a banana statistic. I was like, I need to see this math because that's bananas. But I mean, it's true. Or I would believe it anyway. I didn't work out the math, but I would believe it.
Yeah, Joey Gallo is usually one of my favorite players to go after, but not this year. I just don't like him at all. Let's go deep into the deep sea level. Let's see all this murkiness, all this blue. Just trying to see if there's anybody worth mentioning here as I go from the bottom up.
McGuire?
Yeah, that's a playtime thing though. He's not going to play enough to really matter in terms of strikeouts. So.
No, isn't he the one that got caught in the
yes like we already know what you're gonna say, and yes it is. That's him right there. And let's not talk about that anymore because we're trying to keep it kid friendly even after my F-bombs.
You think he'd have more power with his forearms?
Oh, he's been waiting all morning to make that joke. Here's a name that sticks out like a sore thumb, sore arm, I guess.
He's going to need Tommy John surgery.
He's out for the year. Why? Because he jerked it too much. Okay.
Definitely going with the explicit title on this one.
Actually, no, Reese McGuire was last seen with Austin Spiro at the at Southern California at the honky tonk doing the jerk.
No, that's no.
Oh no, you were doing the root dude. I'm sorry, the root dude.
Oh no.
I mixed up the root dude with the jerk, that dance.
Yeah,
No,
no.
all right.
To slightly get off this topic, you know what I just realized? Joey Gallo just turned 28. I feel like he'd be way older, but he debuted at 21.
Telling you, man.
And if he's in Yankee Stadium, like I just want a full year in Yankee Stadium. I'm trying to buy him everywhere, and if it doesn't work out, whatever. But like, could you see him like having a 60 home run season?
Yes.
Like even with just like some like hitting more fly balls, like he's gonna bat like 200, but he's gonna have 60 home runs, and it's gonna be the craziest thing in the world.
He's gonna have 72 homers or 72 hits and 60 homers.
Hey, I am here for the home run season record breaking, more home runs than singles. I am here for that.
Excuse me.
Why is Tommy Edman so low?
Well,
his PAs are off. That's what I mentioned at the beginning. His PAs are off.
Why is he so low? Let me see.
Yeah, I noticed that before the show.
Why is he only getting 218 plate appearances?
Yeah, that's not accurate. Right now he's projected to have over 600. So yeah.
Way to go, Austin. You gave me the wrong bit.
ATC says he's gonna get hurt, I guess.
Yeah, he's right now. ATC has him at 609 plate appearances, 12 home runs, 23 stolen bases. Yeah, because I was sorting by home run and I saw that he only had 5, and I was like, wait, I know Tommy Edman doesn't have a lot of power, but he's going to hit more than 5 home runs.
Wait, he's Tommy Edman's projected to get 609 plate appearances.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not impressed by the projected triple slash line, though. I mean, 234, 324. I know that these are
it's 268, 318, 403.
So now what do
we? I think that was just completely off.
Well, Austin, you got to start over, man. I'm sorry.
No, the other ones, I went and I checked some of the top names, and they're all like relative. I mean, I think the home runs might have changed by 1 or 2 on a couple of guys, but yeah, the Tommy Edman one. I don't know what happened there.
Please don't make me start over.
You don't have to start over.
I mean, I guess we could just type in the new numbers manually, but to do it for one player, I don't know about that.
Yeah, according to this spreadsheet, Tommy Edman is an absolute steal.
Where's his ADP at? ADP is at
it's like right on. No, that's not right. His ADP is around like 130, I think.
But why is it so low after I cannot believe after 1 week or 2 weeks, this is the big difference. All right, we're stuck on this topic too long. Too much Tommy Edman not having the right numbers. We'll have to adjust manually, I guess.
ADP right now is actually inside the top 100. It's 96.
How is this possible? Anyway. Why? Oh, you know what? It looks like somehow Jace Peterson's statistics trickled down to Tommy Edman.
Okay, that makes more sense.
All right, so I guess I'll have to do it myself then. But I was going to talk about Aristidus Aquino being, seal blue and then a big home run rate. Is this, Sean, is this anything to talk about here?
I think it is, because he was a name that stuck out. I think according to these projections, he was only like a sub 300, but he was right around 12 or 13 home runs. And I think he's a guy that could be a huge beneficiary of the universal DH. I don't think he's all that great of a hitter. He strikes out way too much. We saw that even in the last 2 years since he broke out at the end of 2019. But ATC has him projected for 16 home runs in 291 plate appearances. If he gets 600 plate appearances, that's 30 plus home runs. I think that's a sneaky value for power. He just needs to make more contact. He needs to stop spending so much time in the cage with Eugenio Suarez. Because that's like, when you look at his numbers, I feel like him and Suarez are doing the same exact thing. So maybe that's a coaching philosophy thing, because his walk rate has gone up. The strikeout rate is skyrocketed, essentially. But he definitely has legit power. And any player that plays in Great American Ballpark and can get 600 plate appearances with that type of power is someone to keep an eye on.
As you've seen, I'm trying to update Tommy Edman's numbers, and you're already seeing like much better improvement.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Austin, stall for me. Who do you want to talk about from this bottom of the list here?
The bottom of the list here. This one's hard because it's so many players that's like, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah. So a rule of thumb here is just, I kind of scroll up and see if any colors pop, because it's all blue. So I'm looking for anything red, orange.
Yeah. So I guess the one that pops out at me is the 6.25 home run percentage of Mike Zunino. So Mike Zunino, another one, because catcher is so thin.
Yeah,
you can consider Mike Zunino as someone who might produce for you at the catching position, but overall, I'm not high on Mike Zunino because he strikes out way too much. You know what I mean? So it's just, you're looking at it right there, 35.6% strikeout percentage. He's and only an 8.15% walk percentage. It's not good, but again, you only have 2 or 3 catchers that are
return value.
Yeah, that have any sort of value and are going to be legitimate producers for your fantasy team. So Mike Zunino becomes a legitimate thought of maybe I should have him as a catcher. Like, he's definitely going to be taken in the draft for sure. It's just, it's like a race to the Salvador Perez, the JT Real Mutos, and then it's everybody else.
Sean, question: what's Tommy Edman's ADP here?
Like 96 was on Fantasy Pros. That's
good enough for me. I don't care.
Yeah. All right. But Zunino, he only played in 109 games. He split, time with guys like Francisco Mejia. He still tallied 33 home runs. He has one of the top barrel percentages in all of baseball. 375 plate appearances, 33 home runs, which was, I think, second among catchers behind only Salvador Perez. That's a guy. Yeah, he batted 216, but it was only in 375 plate appearances at bats. So it doesn't hurt your average as much as, just seeing, 216. But definitely a guy that I want, because I think he's going to play more. Simply because Francisco Mejia really hasn't done much for them. Yeah. He had a WRC plus 134, 34%. And in only 109 games, he had a 4.5 win season. He's a great defensive catcher. I think Tampa Bay might run him out there closer to 120, 130 games this year. I would not be surprised.
Let's see. Well, Mejia, I see right at the bottom of the list here. So 80 games versus 103 for Zunino. It's still same sea of blue here, but because of Zunino's more plate appearances, Zunino has more of a variety in terms of hit distribution, but that's because more playing time. Better, strikeout numbers, I guess, for Mejia. Much better. I guess anything is better than Zunino at this point. But Zunino
actually produces. He strikes out, Mejia doesn't, but he's producing and he's a better defender.
I'm just trying to see. Even the on-base stuff and the rate stats, they're very minimal advantages for Mejia.
Yeah, and if you want something crazy with Zunino, if you're in a daily league, Just go look at his not daily splits, his lefty righty splits from 2021. They are the most ridiculous looking things you've ever seen. In 2021 against lefties, he batted 342 with a 420 on base, 868 slugging, which was good for a 243 WRC plus, 143% better than league average. Against right-handed pitchers, he batted 151 with a 240 on base and a 397 slug and a near 40% strikeout rate. It doesn't make sense, but there it is.
All right. Other players that we can, I mean, now you're starting, as we go up the list on the hustle ball from the bottom to the top, you're starting to see more red, more orange a little bit. There's Alejandro Kirk, which I know is Sean's darling there. Speaking of catchers, right? So I don't know.
The one that I was going to pick was actually a catcher, but it was not Kirk.
Would you pick Kirk over Zunino?
No, because I don't trust Kirk's ability to get playing time right now.
All right.
I love Kirk. I don't trust his ability to get playing time right now.
Yeah, and you got
especially their top like one of the top prospects in baseball is that catcher for Toronto now, Gabriel Moreno who just kind of came out of nowhere. Still has a ways to go to get. I think he ended up at AAA, but he skipped AA or something crazy. But yeah, with Moreno, they still have Danny Jansen. I just don't think Kirk can get playing time. He needs to get traded. That's what needs to happen.
Gary Sanchez or Mike Zunino?
Oh, Mike Zunino. God, yes. God. I'm never drafting Gary Sanchez. I've told you this a million times, people.
All right. Let's see.
I don't want to talk about him. I just want to get the name Lars Nootbaar out.
Yeah, Lars Nootbaar. He ruined the Mets season last year. Like the Mets were on about to win their third or fourth game in a row. Pete Alonso was about to hit a 3-run home run to give them the lead in the 8th inning. And Lars freaking Nootbaar, who had just pinch hit and double switched into the game, robs the home run in right field. Mets end up losing the game, and then of course the rest of the season happened.
Hey,
Lars Nootbaar.
He might look at these rate stats though.
No, he's got a nice little he's got a nice little profile, kind of like a Jock Peterson-esque, less power, less speed. Granted, Jock doesn't have any speed anymore, but
all right, let's quickly move on. Go to the weighted total ball, which this is 30%. Oh, I hate when that thing happens. This is 30% of the hustle ball aggregate plus the 70% power ball aggregate. So it gives you a nice little round number, and it shouldn't be surprised that more power equals better results. Juan Soto, once again. Juan Soto basically leads every freaking category here. Does he lead WAR too? Let me see, because I know WAR's there's your MVP, Juan Soto, at 7.5 WAR. So let's go back to the weighted total ball, which is again, it's 30% hustle ball, 70% of the power ball. So obviously it leans heavy towards the power metrics, which would be doubles and home runs at this point. But it's a who's who of important players: Juan Soto, Bryce Harper, Vladimir Guerrero, Freddie Freeman, Fernando Tatis, Mookie Betts, possibly getting a bounce back. Jose Ramirez, Trey Turner, Ronald Acuna, bounce back. Mike Trout, bounce back. Rafael Devers, Bo Bichetti, Paul Goldschmidt, Aaron Judge, and Xander Bogaerts. And there it is. Okay. So with all that being said, let's go down the list and see if anybody kind of catches your eyes here. There's Jonathan India, number 26. Austin, if you see a player, just shout it out when you see one that you want to talk about.
The first one that I saw was Pete Alonso, and I just keep going back to scroll up a little bit. He's up a little higher. He's 20th. And I just keep thinking, going back to the home run derby where he kept saying, I am the best power hitter in the MLB. I am the best power hitter in the MLB. And
I feel like I'm the best power hitter in MLB.
Yeah.
He said, I feel like I'm the best power hitter.
So now it looks like here he's out to prove it. He's up there in the top 20, and I don't know how to feel about Pete Alonso, because I know he's a great power hitter. He's a great producer. It's just I just don't know how to feel about him. It's so weird. He's a weird player for me.
Would you believe me if I told you he cut his strikeout percentage to sub 20% in 2021? Really? A sub 20% strikeout rate. Swinging strike rate also went down. I think he's evolving here. He's never going to be like a 290, 300 hitter, but I think he does have like a 285 year in him. And it's going to be one of those seasons he bats 285. The walk rate's probably going to go from the 9 and 10% it's been the last 3 years to like 13, 14 because pitchers just aren't going to want to face him. I'm not sure if that year is in 2022, but he's definitely dangerous. I usually shy away from him in drafts just because I feel like I can get a better, more well-rounded player around that ADP. But yeah, he's definitely a solid pick.
Somebody more like Lindor.
Yeah, I don't pick Lindor anymore because I don't think he's going to run. I think he's just a home runs, and the average is going to be like 270. Who did I pick in this?
I think he's going to end up being one of my keepers in the new.
Oh, and yeah, in Felipe's league. Yeah,
Mardi Gras Madness.
The Mardi Gras Madness. I think he's going to end up being one of my keepers. That guy, I'm going to tell you what, he messed up that team so bad. Oh my God. Like, I have no first round pick.
You have 3 shortstops or something like that.
4 shortstops. I have no left fielder. Like, dude, what are you doing, man? Come on.
Yeah, that there's a reason why he left. But I got Bo Bichette out of him, so I'm happy with the results of him. I thought he was a very good owner because he gave me Bo Bichette. Thank you so much.
Of course you do.
Can I have him back?
Yeah, man, swing a deal. I mean, someone's trying to get Jacob deGrom off my hands too. Hey, blow my socks off and we'll talk.
Yeah.
All right, Sean. Any player as I scroll down the list that you want to talk about?
I'm kind of shocked that Giancarlo Stanton is as low as he is.
What
this
rank
list.
Is that?
He is at 62, sandwiched in between Chris Bryant and Michael Conforto.
There he is. I see.
What are we feeling about Giancarlo Stanton for 2022? Is he going to play less or more than the 139 games he played in 2021?
Well, according to projections, it's going to be less. Hey, man, you know what? We all know who Giancarlo Stanton is at this point. Yeah. When he's playing, he hits monumental home runs. 35 dingers, 6.04 home run rate. I mean, these are numbers you kind of salivate, but we know there's always going to be an injury risk. We know that he's limited in the field. Is he DH only eligible this year? I forget.
Yeah, I don't think he played. Let me go look.
The position versatility isn't there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, man. I guess for the right price, you get him, you snatch him up, and hope for the best. You hope that the arrow points up.
He's got outfield. He played 16 games. So depending on your eligibility rules, he played 16 games out there.
Yeah, and if you're in a league like ours, left field, center field, right field, you're kind of crossing your fingers that he gets eligibility in one of those other corner outfield spots. 90th ADP, 90 ADP. What is that? 8th round. My math is terrible here.
Yeah, depending on 12 or 15 league. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess that's the.
I've seen him go well below his ADP though. In the TGFBI mock I was just part of, I want to say he went like 150, like it was like way low. And at that point, like he's a guy that I'm willing to take. I have him in my 30-team dynasty along with Judge, Yelich. I actually traded for Stanton last year. Sold in on that You're Mean Mercedes hype. But yeah, it's unfortunate though, because in that league you get a point if the player is a position player and he doesn't make an error in that game, he gets 1 point. But since Stanton DHs so much, he loses on that 1 point a game. And so, like, when you look at it, you're like, why does he score so many less points than them? But it's because he's a DH.
I guess my player would be Dansby Swanson. I think, if I remember correctly, Austin, when we did the end of year awards, he ended up being the best hitting shortstop according to the metrics we used to compile that list.
He was up there anyway.
Yeah, he was beating out guys like
Tatis and Bichette.
Oh man, is that what he did?
He batted 248.
I'll have to look at a
lot of people look at his thing. They say,
go ahead.
Yeah, he had 27 home runs and 88 RBIs, but like a lot of people are, I think, going crazy over Bichette. Swanson, and there's no reason to.
Yeah, there was something where Swanson was really high. And I think we had a discussion of, is this really real hype? Like, do we really consider Swanson or not? And I don't know. Swanson's not a guy that when I think shortstop for fantasy, Swanson's not the first guy that comes up there.
Oops. All right. Well, I had pulled up the spreadsheet. So I'm doing 2 spreadsheets at once here. Thank God I have 2 big screens here, but it's not good for podcasting. Was it third base? No. Oh, you know what? I might be confused. No, I confused. Austin Riley is the guy.
That makes more sense because he had a huge year. That makes more sense.
There he is.
beating out, and it was a very close race. I had to do a separate spreadsheet for this, beating out Jose Ramirez and Rafael Devers. So I was confusing my Atlanta Braves players. But let's talk about Dansby Swanson. I mean, he's there among in the top 60 among. I mean, he's ranked higher than Giancarlo Stanton and other established players. I mean, he's supposed to be getting a lot of. I mean, you're looking at it, a lot of counting stats, a lot of playing time. Strikeouts are always going to be a problem with this guy. But I mean, the strikeout rate is not high enough where we should start worrying too much about it. He'll chip in 10 stolen bases for you, according to the.
Yeah, he might give you 10. Like, yeah, because he's had 10 and 18 and 19.
That's a plus. So a lot. I mean, I'm kind of shocked. I'm really shocked to see a lot of positives from Dansby Swanson. But here's the negatives. Porous on base percentage, a really bad on base percentage, 317 for a guy who's supposed to be doing all this damage. I don't know, it's kind of questionable. 758 ops, which you guys mentioned all the other shortstops, they're doing much better numbers nowadays in that position, which is no longer a deficient hitting position. Woba's low, 99 WRC plus, which puts him 1% below league average.
Yep.
But but I don't know, you get Dansby Swanson because he's gonna maybe get you so much playing time that he has no choice but to produce. I mean, you're seeing this.
Yep.
Look at all this production. It's hard to deny it.
If you look at the shortstops in 2021, ranked via WAR, 11, 12, and 13 are Javier Baez, Trevor Story, and Dansby Swanson. And when you look at their production, Baez had 80 runs, 87 RBIs. Story had 88 runs, 75 RBIs. Swanson 78 runs, 88 RBIs. They all had 24 or more home runs. Story had 24, Swanson 27, Baez 31. But Baez and Story give you an extra 8 to 10 stolen bases. Swanson had 9, Story 20, Baez 18. But they all kind of low on base percentage in 2021. Story is, a complete question mark depending on where he ends up. I think he could be really good, Yankee Stadium, or really bad in like San Francisco wouldn't have him. I don't even know where he would go, but I think he has more opportunities to be bad than he does good. But if he's good, he's going to be really, really good.
All right, and we'll finish
before we go to the deep bowels of Reese McGuire's. What do you guys think about Ke'Bryan Hayes? I noticed Ke'Bryan Hayes was 69th.
Nice.
Damn it.
From Reese McGuire to 69.
I was gonna move over that joke. I had ice in my head.
Well, he's going to get all the playing time. I mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates are so lacking in talent that they have no choice but to play this kid probably more than he deserves to. But I mean, that 600 plate appearances will lead to all these high projected counting stats. Home runs are a little waning there, especially for third base. Sean can piggyback off of that.
He's never been a huge home run hitter.
That's a problem.
I mean, the fact that in 96 games in 2021 he had 6 home runs, that's basically on his track record before. His 2020 when he debuted and he had like the best 24 games of his life. Yeah, that's not who he is. That it's just not going to happen. He's going to play every day because of his defense. The defense is outstanding. The offense is, I don't know. He might have an outlier year where he hits like 40 doubles, especially in a park like that. But I don't see him ever being a 20, 25 home run guy. I think it's going to be 15 home runs, 30 doubles, Gold Glove defense. Basically Matt Chapman without power and doesn't strike out as much.
That's about right. I mean, because his rate stats are just not. They're kind of lacking here. 424 slugging, which is really low for a third baseman. You mentioned Matt Chapman, who might be a bounce back candidate this year. There's nothing that kind of screams off the page aside from the counting stats, which it's fantasy, so it's important. But we also
he'll be a better real life player than fantasy player.
Yeah, and that's gonna be an issue because that's not the game we're playing here. I mean, I know I brag that this is a show that kind of combines both aspects, but in this realm, I kind of want more. All right, so let's go. We're in the deep blue sea. This is the last thing we're going to talk about. One guy that pops up is a 280 batting average from Harold Ramirez. As you guys can tell, I'm now going towards the rate stats to see if I can find someone worth talking about. Harold Ramirez is not someone I really want to talk about, but I just can't help but look at the batting average being so high. Is Harold Ramirez going to save your batting average on your team there? Sean, let's start with you.
No, and I like Harold Ramirez going back to when he debuted with the Marlins. Just kind of one of those Melky Cabrera-esque, just kind of has the hit tool. He's not going to hit for a lot of power. The defense isn't good at all, but he knows how to hit. Like, it's just one of those guys, you put a bat in his hand and he's going to hit. I'm not sure how much playing time he's going to get in Cleveland. That could be a possible issue with depending on how they situate their DH and Franmil Reyes playing some outfield, or I have no clue who's expected to be their left fielder right now. That's kind of scary. It's probably a really bad name that I don't want to know. It's like, let's pull it up, roster resource.
Oh, it's a bad name.
Left field is actually a very, very good name. And I don't want to say it because he's like a steal in every draft.
Oh my
that
God.
nobody's
say it, Sean.
Stephen Kwan.
Okay.
Has no major league experience, but he just hits and he hits and he hits and he hits, and he walks more than he strikes out. And he actually has some pop. He in 2021, both between AA and AAA, posted sluggings over 500 while batting 337 and 311 between AA and AAA.
And members of 311. You know, when you said that it was a bad name, I thought his name was Love.
No. What is love?
No, you give Love a bad name.
Oh. No, Kevin Love plays basketball, Felipe.
Oh, you mentioned Cleveland. Sorry. All right. So, Austin, is there someone you want to talk about here? As I scroll
you know, what's
list?
funny was I was kind of looking at, I saw a little bit of red, and then all of a sudden what caught my eye was over there at the stolen bases. And then I saw it was Vidal Brujan. You know, Vidal Brujan is
where is he? I'm sorry.
291st, right in between Pedro Severino and Austin Hedges.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, 13 stolen bases. The rate stats didn't look all. I mean, he's got a 250 average, a 316 OBP. Doesn't look like he's going to get much playing time, but I mean, you never know with the Rays. They might stick him in there and he'll catch a hot streak and he'll, you know, be platooned in there or whatever. But, you know, I know we've talked about Vidal Brujan before, and some of us are pretty excited for Vidal Brujan to get some plate appearances. So, you know, it's pretty interesting with as little of playing time as he's getting 13 stolen bases. So maybe there's something there. Maybe there's not. I don't know. But I know we've talked about Vidal Brujan before.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe stick him in the if he's still eligible, stick him in the minor slots and wait for him to come up and get his playing time.
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't think he will be, but yeah, that's definitely an option you could probably take. Quick question: is Victor Reyes something that we need to look at?
I was looking at him too. I don't really know.
I think he's on borrowed time because I think Riley Green is going to play a lot for the Tigers this year. And I think Daz Cameron's going to play a lot of just, if anything, for some defense and speed. I think Victor Reyes, he's had 3 years, and I think he's had his fill. He might just become like a fourth outfielder. And on Detroit, I don't think there's anything worse than being a fourth outfielder in Detroit.
All right. Pick one of 3 players, Austin Slater, Andy Ibanez, or JD Davis.
Oh, obviously, I'm picking JD Davis.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's not just because he's a Met. It's just because he's a better hitter. And it's because he's a better hitter.
I'm picking him because he's a Met.
Oh,
just to curse that team a little bit more. It seems like every time I get excited about Mets players, they let me down.
But no, the person that I would actually pick from the deep blue sea here is actually 2 spots beneath JD, and that's a catcher. He has catcher eligibility. Will probably not play catcher in 2021, or at least not that much. And that's Eric Haas. And, you know, there's a lot of fun things about drafting a guy who has catcher eligibility, but plays more than just about every other catcher. And that's Eric Haas. He had 22 home runs, batted 231, posted a 100 WRC plus. You could do worse at a catcher eligible player. 231. He's not going to walk a whole lot, but the pop is kind of legit.
Not concerned about the strikeouts.
I mean, I am, but I think we're talking about a guy who is catcher eligible that's not going to play catcher, so he's going to rack up a lot of, hopefully, a good amount of plate appearances.
All right.
And I don't think he's going to be a terrible, like, batting average. I think he's a 230 hitter, but hits the ball very hard, has a little bit of speed, faster than you would expect, stole 2 bases, which is pretty good for that. In the minors, I don't think he stole much. Yeah, he's a catcher. But really good exit velocity, max EV, hard hit rates, expected slugging. And in Detroit, you really have to have power to get it out. And a lot of his home runs last year were just no doubters. I mean, they were gone.
Oh, he was a hotly sought after player after a while. There's Nick Senzel again. We talked about him last week, but some of the projections look pretty decent considering the type of players we're seeing on the deep blue here.
Aaron Ruff getting
they're
some
in rough
rate stats there.
They're in rough.
Universal DH could help him a lot. He's better against lefties, but universal DH helps him get a lot more plate appearances.
Yeah. And we might have to not redo the list completely, but the other list, the one with all the players, the pair down list, the formal pair down list, Austin. And we might have to double check that to see if any DHs or any other players come on. And, kind of with the dynamic of the DH, things have changed. And that's why I wanted to wait as long as possible. But then I realized, we need to provide some content. We need to start getting on this. So we can't wait forever. And this is one of those times where we are screwed because of the timing. Just this damn lockout, man. It's just really messed with me.
I know.
And everybody else, I'm assuming. All right. And then, this, let's see, who do we got here? Oh, Mike Zunino again. There's Austin Nola, who we talked about last year a lot. And I don't know, I like him as a late round catcher. But there's a lot to be desired there in terms of the great stats. And we're finishing up here. Just shout them out if you see someone you want to talk about. There's Alejandro Crook again with the nice great stats, but not enough playing time.
Rougned Odor, 25 or more home runs in Baltimore as a starting second baseman, third baseman.
Really? All right.
Yeah, he's in Baltimore this year, and I could just see him. I mean, he's a batting average liability for sure, but it's Baltimore. Like, if you can hit for average anywhere, it's Baltimore, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jose Iglesias had that in the 2020 season. So
at least Jose Iglesias knows how to put the ball in play now.
At least Jose Iglesias knows how to sing.
Yeah, does he?
No.
Oh, and the other. I'm stupid.
Enrique.
That's like
Julio.
the third. That's like the third one. That's went right over your head, Sean.
You guys should know. I always have music references ready. Just,
I mean, they're so bad that I can't possibly think he would go to such a depth of joke and pun.
Jose Iglesias possibly being related to Julio and Enrique. How can you not?
I think I would have gotten it if you had said Enrique like Hernandez, like he can sing. I think I would have picked it up as Enrique first rather than Iglesias.
That's lame.
You're lame. You just made the joke.
So you know what?
So we have now devolved. Wait a minute. We've now devolved to middle school. That's lame. No, you're lame.
Yeah,
waiting for your mom.
The two New Yorkers flicking each other off in the middle of the street.
I was gonna say, you know what they call Iglesias means church in Spanish. I think you guys should know, right? So, But you know what happens when you combine both Jose Iglesias, Enrique Iglesias, and Julio Iglesias together in the same room, right?
What happens?
It becomes a basilica.
Oh my! And that's all for today on to the total bases.
Oh, Dominic Smith. There. These numbers should go up, right?
I hope he gets traded. I really do. I want him to play like
a DH.
Yeah, but he's not going to DH over Cano's getting paid $20 million or JD Davis. I want him to play. Like that's the thing.
But you want him because it's only going to be 75 games before Cano pops out with steroids again.
Hey, that would be a blessing because then it'd be a life ban and we're off the hook for all the money. But that won't happen.
Henry's saying that Pete Alonso is going to be a nice DH.
He's not going to DH. He's already said it. He does not want to DH. He feels like he's a first baseman. And he actually posted the highest outs above average of his career in 2021. He was +1, which is higher than guys like Hosmer and there were a couple other guys.
And then really quick, I just want to read this before it gets lost on me. Henry's saying, even though there's a Latino guy in here, he's saying, you guys are so white.
Yeah.
Which is a word I can say here because I won't get banned because I'm saying it and not typing it.
We're safe. We're safe.
This is our safe space. We create a safe space.
You can't get us here, Zuck.
You can't get a zuck it really long and hard. Next thing you know, this video has been banned. It's all right. We'll put it over on YouTube, and that's a good place to stop. We'll put it over on YouTube and all the other channels.
I'm gonna get black bagged after this episode's uploaded. Guys in black suits. Yeah, the guys in black suits are gonna put a black bag over my head and like pull me into a Facebook van.
Oh, that's what happens in the Venture Brothers.
The term black bagged before.
You've never heard it?
No.
Oh yeah, it's like a kidnapping. You get black bagged.
Why didn't you just say kidnapped?
Yeah, because that's they kidnap you. They put a black bag over your head and they kidnap you.
never heard that before in my.
Yeah, really? Okay.
I mean, I know about the black bag. I didn't know there was an actual term for it, black bag. And anyway, did you want my spreadsheets? Do you want these spreadsheets that Austin and I have been working on all season? Consider donating it to the Felipe Milicio PayPal account if you're interested. You know what? Why not?
I think Tommy Edmond might just pay you to fix his projection, and then he might pay.
I already did, didn't you?
Oh, there you go. There you go. He's going to see all your hard work in the video itself.
Yeah, so I'm going to put that on the comments. You guys know you want it. You know you want all those numbers at your disposal for your upcoming drafts, and just to help you gauge what the upcoming season is all about. Notwithstanding errors, but if you see errors, I will fix them for you for free. Give me a $5 donation. If you can't do that, just give me what you can, and I'll split the difference with Austin over here. Oh boy, so podcast galore here at Donk City on Wednesdays. I forgot if they're going every week or every other week. Henry can probably shed a light on that. You guys saw the big bonanza that was the Football Life podcast over at the Audible. The Audible over at Football Life, I should say. They had like 20 people on it, as they normally do. So that you could tell that their season's starting to wind down when they have like 20 people as their guests. Super Bowl predictions. I say 27-24 Rams. Who do you guys got?
Awesome.
You know what? I'm a Cowboys fan. I really don't have any skin in the game, but I'm rooting for the Bengals. I want the Bengals to win.
There you go. Final score. Let me get a final score from you.
You go.
I'm gonna go 21-17 Bengals.
Ooh. And Sean?
I'm gonna go. Let's say 37 for the Bengals and like 45 for the Rams. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
He's a little.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I want Joe Burrow to win, but I also want Matt Stafford to get a ring. So,
wait, what was the final score?
Corey Richmond agrees with me. So
yeah, I saw that. That's why I was distracted. What was the final score for you, Sean?
It was a 40. What was it? 45? 45? I think they could put up 45 for the Bengals defense.
Don't forget. We'll just have to rewind. What's the other? And Corey, who was doing the wrestling podcast, he does the You Don't Know Jackie podcast. Go check him out. What's the other one that we do here? Donk City. Henry just confirmed they're not going this week. They'll go probably next week. Then step back. I think they're going Monday nights now. It's hard to keep up with the movement everywhere, but we're still here Sunday mornings. We'll be going every week until we can't no more, until the world ends, or until one of us gets too sick that they can't do the show. All right, guys. Pleasure doing this with you. For me, I am Felipe. That's Austin. That's Sean. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you all next week.
Adios.
Have a good one, guys.